Yeah, so I started recording the this live session, and you can start with your doubts if you have any. So you have been given the number system lectures now, and many of you have gone through those lectures I have seen. Though quite a lot of you are not going through the lectures perhaps, but you should go through the lectures at least in the very week that they are uploaded, so that you can have your doubts cleared in the next week. Because if you keep these things pending, they will accumulate, and then suddenly you will see there is a lot of things to cover in a very short time, and you will not be able to manage it probably. And also I am posting the tutorials are not yet posted, but they will also come across, and the quizzes are also there, so they are having some time limit of submission, right? So if you are submitting, so I have no, I'm not I'm not closing down the submission after the submission date. But if you are doing late submission, then of course there will be some penalty associated with that late submission. So I have not decided on that penalty, but some penalty will of course be there. So please keep that in mind and try to so you submit your quizzes and tutorials, and when the class notes will be asked, so whatever assignment is put up in the MS Teams, you complete it in time. So you would be knowing the end date of the assignment. Accordingly, you manage your studies, etc., so that you can complete the submission in time. Don't do late submissions. So I am actually you don't know, you can ask your previous batch. I am very strict in maintaining this grading system. So I will not listen to your what you can come later and sir, please give marks, this thing and that thing. So I don't encourage those things. So I already put out my theme of giving marks, and whoever like and it doesn't matter who has not been able to uh, produce the submissions in time. So I just look at the scheme, and whatever the policy is there, on that basis I give the marks. So I don't change my policy based on any person or any student, unless there is a genuine case, like someone approached me, he has fractured his hand. So I also verified that it is a genuine case. So then that person will be allowed to give a late submission. So I will not deduct his marks for late submission. So that much consideration is there, but unless there is some genuine reason, you should always submit your assignments within time. So I don't close the submission. That much leniency is there from my side. That means you will be able to submit even after the due date is over. Some marks will be of course given because we have done the submission, but it will not be at par with the marks of those students who have submitted in time. So please bear that in mind. So if you have any doubts regarding the content that has been covered till now, you can start raising your hands. Or you can post your doubt in the chat also. This is for live interaction, so you are getting the chance to ask me directly. So please utilize this chance. So there is no other way at this time of the year. So we are not able to meet face to face. So at least you utilize this time to directly ask me questions. Otherwise, like, the point of live session is getting lost. So Vaibhav has asked something, I think. Up to when we have to submit the notes of number system videos. Okay, the notes of number, when I will put up the assignment, So it will come as an assignment actually. So in that assignment, I will ask you to prepare the notes of this video to this video. I will mention the range of the videos. So it is like a module sort of. So like number system and codes are going on, and you will be asked to submit the notes for that module. So you start preparing as and when you study by opening the lecture slides, you start preparing your notes side by side. Okay, so you start preparing your notes side by side. When the assignment comes up, then you can make a fair of those notes and simply scan it or take a clean photo and upload it. So that will do. And just be careful to put all the contents should be there. So whatever topics I have covered, you have to at least put those topics in your class notes. Then further someone can feel that they can add something to it, or they can present it in their presentation style will be different. So these will be personal to one another. But if you have the content there, then you can assure yourself there that you will get like 8 out of 10 you will readily get if you cover all the topics that I have covered and correctly covered, not like any in any fashion. You have to mention those things in a correct manner. So simply doing that will guarantee you around like 7 or 8 you will get, and the rest of the marks will depend on how nicely you have presented, anything additional you may have given. So all those things will be taken into account. Yeah, you can upload photos of handwritten notes. That is fine. Photo or scan. So if you have a scanner machine or something like that, you can have a scan also. Otherwise, you can take a like clearly visible photo. Don't put a shadow there. So well lit and all. Handwritten notes are to be handwritten only. That is another important thing I should mention. Notes have to be handwritten. And so I will not accept any notes which are like typewritten or something like that. They have to be handwritten. Any questions regarding the topics that had been discussed? So I think we covered after what period of time we have to upload the notes. So the assignment will come with a submission deadline. So with that submission deadline, you have to submit within that time. If you don't submit within that time, you will get some penalty because of late submission. Okay, I think Varun has some doubt. So Varun, you can unmute yourself and pose your question here. Then I will further look into the chats after Varun has asked his question.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, in the lecture 1A, at the last topic of the zero,
Hmm.
you described that zero enabled us to move from the lower order numbers to the higher order numbers,
Hmm.
and then you represented it on the number line and mentioned zero from zero to r, and then r square, and then r cube.
Hmm.
So you said that from r to r square,
Hmm.
the digits we are using them from 1 to r minus 1,
Hmm.
but they shouldn't be from 0 to r minus 1, like from 11 to 100. If we are considering the decimal system, we are
Hmm.
having 20, 30, 40, 50. So we are using 0 also, no?
Yeah, we are using zero also. However, I didn't mention zero like that because zero basically is vanishing the lower order completely. So if you have to have something in that lower order, you are putting a 1 to something like that. But obviously this 20 is a number, so it has to be represented by 2 in the tens place and 0 in the ones place, but your units place. But when you are putting 0 in the units place, actually there is no contribution of the units place, so the contribution is 0 then, so that contribution is totally gone. So the contribution is only 2 10 to the power of 1. The contribution comes from 10 to the power of 1. That 20 contribution comes from 10 to the power of 1 in decimal number system. So
Okay.
r to the power of 1 in a general radix system r. So it would be 2 r. So if you write a number 20 in any radix system, so its value is 2 r to the power of 1. And the next, the r to the power of 0 contribution, there is no r to the power of 0 contribution
Yes.
because it is 0. So like when in a number you see zeros anywhere, basically the contribution of that place, that position is no longer there in the number. So if you have to put the contribution, then you have to use digits from 1 to r minus 1. And if you
Okay.
don't wish to put a contribution, you use 0 there.
Okay, sir.
Varun, you can lower your hand. Keshav, after Mohit, what are the minimum marks required in the quiz? Minimum marks required in the quiz is 50% for each quiz. So each quiz you have to pass, and passing marks for each quiz is 50%. So sometimes you will see a quiz is having 10 points, sometimes it is having 6 points, so 50% means half of that. So that is the passing marks. So as many quiz you pass, you are basically scoring on that there is a scaling. So the total number of quizzes you pass by the total number of quiz taken. So that will be always a fraction, or maximum it can be 1. So that scaling would be applied to your entire CWS marks. So it will come as a scaling to your entire CWS marks collected from your tutorials and your class note assignment. So you should be trying to pass every quiz, and passing every quiz is very minimal, 50%. I'm sure that almost all of you will be able to get 50% in all the quizzes. They are not very difficult, but you should pay attention when you are listening to the lecture videos. So some conceptual understanding is what I am posing as quiz questions. So unless your conceptual understanding is clear, some of the questions you will not be able to answer correctly, but that probably will not exceed 50% also. So the quizzes are um, designed in such a way that maybe you will not be able to do 100% correctly, but also it will not lower your like it will not make you fall below 50%. So I'm trying to help you in that manner, but you should you should cooperate by producing the quizzes in time. So submitting the quizzes in time. If you don't submit the quiz in time, then of course if you are getting scoring 6 out of 8 correctly after doing a late submission, I will not consider it as a 6. I will consider it something lower than that. So that I have not yet decided how to penalize on the late submission of quizzes, but some penalty will of course be there. I will judge how you are submitting, etc. On those basis, I will take a decision. Are we supposed to make notes of general introduction? No. General introduction videos, I will not ask you for an class note assignment. It will start from the lecture 1. Okay, so you start making the lecture 1, the assignment will be posted at the end of this week, Friday or Saturday, something like that. I wanted to ask one thing. How long do you think is a good time for allowing you for the submission? So in the other class, I am taking a third year class also. I had put the assignment up for like submission time. I have allowed around 10 days. So like I am putting it on this Thursday or Friday like that, and next Sunday midnight the closing date of the assignment I had I had put in the third year class. So I will. So I hope that this is not too long. At least it is of course not too short. So 1 week, it is more than 1 week's time I am allowing. So probably this will work for you guys also. Anything regarding the topics covered? I hope you are able to understand how we convert from one radix system to another radix system. The concept of radix is very vital in understanding the number systems. So very like major points is that if you know the radixes are, then you completely understand that there are only r digits including 0 to r minus 1. So these are the digits possible in a radix r system, and how you evaluate the value of the number, that I hope it is clear to you now. So it is simply a weighted sum. Okay. And how you find out the number given the value, so that division algorithm. And then if it is a fractional quantity, then the multiplication algorithm. I hope that is clear now to you. So even if you don't really understand why the division algorithm is working or the multiplication algorithm is working, it is fine, absolutely. You just need to know the algorithm. Okay. So one level of knowledge is the working knowledge. So you should at least have the working knowledge on the subject. So working knowledge means some problem is given to you. You should be able to solve that problem if it is a direct application of an algorithm. That is the working knowledge. Then the next level of knowledge is your conceptual knowledge, that reveals the understanding of your understanding why the algorithm works actually. So then you have to actually know, actually dive deep into the algorithm and understand why the algorithm is working. So that is the conceptual knowledge. So conceptual knowledge always it is always found like this, that in a class of 100 students, some students will not be able to develop the conceptual knowledge in all the topics covered in the subject. It happens like that. So it even happened to me also. So at least during the in the course of the duration of the subject, we sometimes don't develop the conceptual knowledge in all the topics, but later on it comes. Sometimes like if you in the next year perhaps you will understand some conceptual level knowledge of this particular subject. But at least the working knowledge should be there for all of you, because in the exams we actually check the working knowledge for most of the questions. One or two conceptual questions will certainly be there, so that there is a difference in scoring. So but if you have the working knowledge, you would be able to pass the subject very easily. So that amount of knowledge should always be there with everyone. No, questions related to introduction videos will not be asked in the exams, because they are not directly the contents. They relate to the contents, that is true, but they are more conceptual and more philosophical part of the course. They are not directly the technical part of the course. So they will not be asked in the questions in the exams. But there is the quiz, so you have to go through it once so that you can answer the quizzes at least. Then there was another topic which was converting from radix r1 to radix r2, when they are related through a power equation like r1 equals to r2 to the power of p. So I hope that is understood. So the basically we will ask you questions from like binary to octal conversion, binary to hexa conversion, then octal to hexa conversion by going via the binary way, not the decimal way. So these are the different things that are that come as a numerical numericals from that part. So a numerical assignment will also be put up. A tutorial will also be put up where you will have to solve this sort of numericals. Then this idea and these lecture videos and how I have shown you one or two examples. So everything will come in the same lines of those examples. Gray code, binary, XS3, any doubt there? How to write down the gray codes in a tabular manner? Did you understand that reflection idea that I discussed? If you are silent, then I will assume that you have understood. Okay. I'm sure that Rahul Gupta has understood. So if someone has any problem, they can catch him also, Rahul. So on my behalf, Rahul will make you understand. So that gray code, how to write down the gray code? So in a tabular manner. Then by BCD XS3, very important. And you will have some numericals coming in the next lectures. And there is some idea of those BCD, how many digits we are keeping in BCD, we are not using in BCD, how many digits we are not using in how many not digits, words, basically how many words we are not using in BCD, how many words we are not using in XS3, where those words lie. This will determine some numerical calculations when you are dealing with BCD and XS3 arithmetic. There will be arithmetic on BCD and XS3 also. Arithmetic means the basic plus minus multiplication division, these operations are the arithmetic operations. So we next lecture set will be on the arithmetic operations on these number systems. That is wholly a numerical thing. How to write gray code for a large number? I had already told in the lecture slide that this will be taken up later on, because we don't know yet some more things about this course. So when we come to know that, this will actually come as a problem. So construct the gray code. Okay. So then you will understand how to proceed with that. And for this small set of numbers like up to 15 or maybe even 32, the 31, so you can easily write the gray code in a tabular manner. Larger gray codes, there is a way, there is a pattern which we need to identify, and then we have to construct the some circuit, actually we construct some logic, we construct based on the binary bits. Some of you may already know if you have been taught this subject earlier, or you read it in your own interest. Any other doubt? I will ask you to be familiar with the binary numbers very well. So at least if you have a 4-word binary number, 4-word means 4-bit binary number. Acha, binary numbers are also called words. Okay, binary words. So this is another term we use. So if you have a 4-bit binary number or a 4-bit binary word, you should be readily able to say the value of that word. Okay, so you practice this by when you write down the numbers. So you see any number, so you can write it down as a table, but when you are practicing yourself, you look at any number, not necessarily from top to down or down to up. You just look at any number within the table and try to evaluate it in your mind. So at least 4-bit binary word should be should be at your, you should be have a very good hold in that conversion mentally. If you can do a conversion for 5-bit words, better. So it is like learning the tables. When we learn the tables, multiplication tables in our childhood, almost like that. So the more number of tables we can learn, the easier it is for us to do the multiplications. Similarly here also. Yeah, the practical use, actually I cannot say very well this answer. I have also have to search. These are codes. So codes are used by the people in the communication engineering line. So they are like converting data from one port to another and sending these codes. There is some should be there should be some practical use of it. I guess I also searched it sometime, but I don't remember it. What is the practical use? So you can also search it out in, you can Google it. I think it will come. So it is something to deal with coding and all. So there is some use there. Any other question? No other question. So I guess I will put up the next set of videos today itself. You can look into those. They are basically numerical exercises. So how to do addition, subtraction, these things. And Thursday you can ask questions from that also. And if you have questions of on this introductory part and lecture number 1, lecture number 0, lecture number 1, that also you can ask. You can also ask question from this next set of lectures which I will put today. So you can look into that, how to do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. All these things are covered there. Okay, any other thing you want to ask me? You want to ask me anything regarding any other thing, not just related to 203. You can ask me anything. If I am able to answer you or clear your doubt, satisfy your query in some way, I definitely try it. So I don't mind if I am asked a question whose answer I don't know. So you don't think like that. So if sir cannot answer, sir will mind. Okay. So I am not like that. I know that I have my own limitations. I don't know everything in the world. But as much as I know, I want to convey it to people around me. And like the Harshit asked me, so I also I remember that I had searched it some time back, but then I don't remember the answer right away. So again I have to search it out. So in that even he can do it, and I will search in the same method, like putting it in Google. So I don't mind that if I don't know any answer or thing like that. So I can always find it out and tell it to you. So it is not always necessary for me to remember everything, and it is not practical also to demand of someone to remember every so many things at some time. You can ask me anything regarding any other topic out of the way, out of the syllabus, anything that interests you, anything that you want to discuss. So I am thinking of taking up some topics like that, and your videos have given me sufficient material where to pick up from one or two things. I might start discussing if we are not having so much of questions, which I am saying that when normally we are covering half an hour, every doubts and queries are getting covered. So some more time, 10-15 minutes, I think we can cover in discussing some of the things that you have put up as interests or some beliefs or something like that. We can take up one or two things and discuss those things. One thing I thought of actually, one interesting thing that you can note. I ask all of you to look into this thing. So you try to see that this information is available very well. Try to find out the breathing rates of different animals. Breathing rates. So you know what is a breathing rate? Breathing rate is how many times we breathe in 1 minute. Breathe one breath means one inhalation and exhalation. So the inhalation and the exhalation together forms a breath. So how many times we breathe in 1 minute. We means human beings. One animal is human beings. So there is an average rate. So someone will breathe one or two here and there. So like this, one or two less or one or two more, like that it might happen. But there is an average rate. For every animal, there is an average rate. So try to find out the breathing rates of different animals. And what I actually want you to figure out is the breathing rates of these animals like dogs and cats, which you see around us, breathing rates of us human beings, breathing rates of tortoise and turtle. Why I am putting this range? Because we know that tortoise, turtle, these animals live for 100 years, 200 years, like that. On the other hand, the cats and dogs die very quickly. They live for 14 or 15 years, like that. We live for around 70, 80, sometimes 90 nowadays. We have extended our longevity. You try to figure out what are the breathing rates of these animals, and you can take any other animal. You just note the breathing rate and how long it lives, its average lifespan. You will find that there is a correlation between this breathing rate and the average lifespan. And of course, by the discussion, you can figure out, you can understand that the correlation is inversely proportional. So the longer the animal is living, someone has put his mic on, I think. So the longer we, the lesser the breathing rate, the longer the animal lives. So this is an interesting phenomenon that one can observe. Normally, it might seem to us that if we don't breathe, we will die, right? So of course, if we don't breathe, we will die. But it also we also have it is also a truth that if we breathe slower, or the animals which breathe slower, they live longer. That is also a truth. So you can experience, you can figure out, you can find this out information. This is very much available, and maybe we can take up this discussion later on, when in the next class, when most of you have at least looked on this interesting fact in some detail. There is a hand raised, Deep Jyoti. Deep Jyoti, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, is that why we are asked to take deep breaths at times?
Yeah, this is exactly the reason, and it is not exactly limited to deep breaths, but also some other things. I will point those things out in the next session, maybe. But this is one reason why we are asked to take deep breaths. Deep breaths basically makes our breath also slower if we take deep breaths.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. You can meet yourself. So with that thought, probably I will end the lecture today. So you can all look into this interesting fact as well as all the topics that will be shared with you. And next class we will discuss more on this. Okay, thank you for coming to the session, and I hope that no one is facing any problem in coming online. So I had been notified that two students were living in places where not much network coverage is there. But I can see Zoya and I think another one is Anchit. I was told that Zoya and Anchit were having some problem, but I can see them coming regularly in the session. So I hope there is not much problem in accessing the resources put up in MS Teams, like the videos and now the assignments will be put up. So I hope that everyone is able to be in the same boat, and we can take the journey together in the same pace also. So okay, uh, I will end the meeting now. So thank you once again for attending the lecture.